How do we keep going and how do we keep the faith when we feel like we're not getting anywhere? When, we feel like it's not really working. Okay. So that's what I want to talk about a little bit today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Chrissy, and this is my podcast, Journey to Happiness. And if you're a returning user, then I'm glad you're here. I don't know how many of you there are because it doesn't appear there's very many, but it's okay. I want to keep going. And that's where I'm at. And so I want to go back a little bit why I started this podcast to begin with, because I found that I'm a big podcast junkie. I love them. But I found all of these very helpful podcast episodes and these creators. And, a lot of them were business creators. A lot of them were entrepreneurs. A lot of them, they just had, how do I say it? They were people who were talking about life-changing subjects too, like spirituality and relationships and all these things. But most of them, actually all of them, when they started their podcast, they had already grown. They already had audiences, they already had businesses, they were pretty big in the spiritual communities and the coaching communities. And I kept like wanting to find people who were starting podcasts when they weren't there yet. I wanted to find people who I could just relate to, not these millionaires who had already made it that were now putting out a podcast and talking about the struggles they had. I wanted to put out, or I wanted to find podcasts that where people had not made it yet and they were just starting their journey, or they were just talking from the heart. And I wasn't finding any of that on any of the podcasts I would find. And then I would like go searching, I couldn't find them. So I started my own and I said, well, this is what I'm going to do. That was about 9 months ago. And, I've talked about a lot of different things on this podcast, and a lot of it, especially lately, has been spirituality based. It's been about energy, it's about healing. That's what I talk about a lot. And it's been really tough because I've been doing this for 9 months. And let me tell you, it's really hard to grow a podcast. It's really hard. I don't know if it's the algorithm. I don't know if people just don't resonate. I don't know if it's just hard to find. I don't know what it is because I put these on YouTube also. And I sometimes I'll get a few views over there, but no engagement really. I mean, views don't really matter, right? If people aren't engaging, and it's been really hard for me lately. It's probably partly to do with the full moon because that just happened, and I feel like it was a doozy, but it's been really tough, and that's why I'm making this podcast. I'm just gonna like. From now on, I'm just going to use this as like my own little diary here and just maybe somebody will resonate. But it's been really tough because I feel like I'm putting in all of this work and I don't know if people are finding them helpful. I have so much knowledge in my head, like my brain is forming all the time of like just all of the things I want to share. And that's why my podcasts tend to be all over the place because I'm like, oh my gosh, I figured this out and I finally figured out how this works and I know how this works. And like, I just have to share it with everybody, right? I just have to share it. And it's like nobody's hearing it, nobody's seeing it, I don't know, maybe nobody's listening. I don't think so. And if you are, like, thank you. And I hope it's resonating. If you keep coming back, then it must be. But as far as my analytics, I don't see it. And it's really hard to keep going when you don't know if anybody's really listening or you don't know if it's working. And, I do the TikToks too. I do the YouTube shorts. I do it all because I love it and I enjoy it. But the point of that is to say, like, I'm going to keep going because I do enjoy this. And, I just am like, if it can help one person, then maybe resonate with this. I do share a lot of knowledge and I do share a lot about energy and I share a lot about relationships and healing. And that is because that is kind of my forte. It was relationships. Relationships were the biggest struggle I had. I've said before on earlier podcasts, I was never been married. I have three children with different fathers, and for the longest time that bothered me. Like I felt so unworthy and so unloved, and felt like nobody ever wanted me. But I came to realize that, like after my spiritual awakening journey back in, like 4 years ago, I started learning about energy and I started learning about vibration and I started learning about why this was, why I was, I mean, I'm glad I was never married because they were all the wrong men. And why, like, why did this happen? And so I put a lot of that information out here on the internet and on my podcast. And sometimes I'm just like, is it just that people aren't ready for it yet? Because I think it's a really hard thing to deal with when you realize like that you're the reason that you haven't found your perfect person yet. And I don't mean that by like you're not worthy to find them because obviously you're worthy. We all are. We're from source, right? But it's like because your vibration and because the things that are in your subconscious mind aren't letting you vibrate at the level that is going to bring you somebody who is going to be, to treat you like you're worthy, right? Because you have these so many blocks in your brain. And so I put this information out there and it's like I want people to understand this, and I don't know if it's resonating because I don't really get the engagement. So it's like, I want to keep doing it because I'm like, I want people to know because I think I can really help you. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. And so it's been really difficult. And so I've been talking a lot about energy and spirituality. But those don't seem to be going anywhere. And at this point, I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so I think I'm just gonna start using this as like my own little personal outlet. And if people hear it, then they do. And if people don't hear it, then they don't. And it's okay because it's like my own little journal and I don't have to write. I can just talk, which is a lot easier. I've been actually journaling a little bit lately and it's kind of hard. My hand gets tired. I would rather just talk. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna put these out here and if people are listening, then they're listening. If they resonate, then they resonate. And if they don't, then they don't. But I hope they do. And I guess another reason I started this podcast was to let people know they're not alone and to just to kind of share some of my experiences. Because as a single mom with three boys with no father in their lives, and I remember I always felt so alone, especially when I would have friends who we're going off and getting married and having that family unit. And the thing was, most of their marriages were not happy, and most of them were not happy in them, and many of them are divorced now. But I remember at the time feeling like so alone. And I think society too, I think society often teaches us, they often say, like, oh, breaking up the family unit and, family units were meant to be like mom and dad and the kids. And yes, but I agree. That's all true. I totally agree with that. But it's really hard when you didn't have that and it's like you're not, I mean, not that you can't still get married and stuff, but you're not gonna have that. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but like I remember my mom, God love her, she didn't mean anything by it, but I remember like when my kids were younger, she used to say all the time, well, this is why you're supposed to be married before you have kids. This is why you're supposed to be married before you have kids. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, and she said it so many times. If I had a quarter for every time she said it, I would be rich right now. And I just remember like it was so hurtful to me because yes, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you should be married. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying that there's anything like I'm not saying anything against that. But when someone's already had the children and they didn't get married, like when it's already happened, it's in the past. Like you can't go back and change it. So when I hear society say things like, "Oh, this is why, the family unit and you should have this, and this," and why I agree, like Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul, God love him. I love that guy. He used to talk about it all the time, and I would always feel like this ting of like not anger, but I would feel this twinge of like guilt because I would be like, oh, like I didn't do that, right? I did something completely opposite. And that was just my life. That's what happened. And I can't change it now. So I think society sometimes makes us feel guilty because of those. And so I used to feel very unworthy and very guilty because I didn't have that. My kids didn't have that father, and that sucks. But going through my awakening and going through like the healing that I've done and going through all the just the stuff that I know now intuitively and just all the different things. Like I know now that they again, I'm getting spiritual and woo here, but it's just how I feel is like that was how it was meant to be. Like we come in here, we sign up for this life. Like we know who our parents are going to be. We know who we're going to incarnate as. We know like our children incarnate as who they're going to incarnate as because those are the lessons we have to learn in this lifetime. And so being able to understand all of that, like I know that like they incarnated with me as their mother because there's a lesson in this that they were supposed to learn, right? Whether you had a amazing family, a very loving family, whether you had, a really traumatic family, whatever it was, your soul had lessons that it was supposed to come here and learn so it could evolve and grow. And we incarnate with the people we incarnate with that are going to best help us learn those lessons. Does that make sense? So, I talk a lot about that on here. And I feel like people are ready for it, but I don't know. I don't know because I don't think the algorithm shows my stuff to people. I I don't know. It's getting really disheartening and there's been days that I just feel like giving up because I'm like, why am I putting all this energy into something? Like it's not working. Why am I putting all this energy into putting myself out here on the internet and speaking my truth and speaking what I know. And I do it because I really want to help people. Like I really like just want to help people feel better because I see on Facebook, oh my gosh, I hate Facebook, by the way. Like, I freaking hate Facebook so much because I think it's just nothing but drama and people posting things like to try and make their life look perfect when it's not. But whatever, that's an episode for another time. But I see like these women who are literally like the ink isn't even dry on the divorce papers yet, and they're already posting that they're in another relationship. Like, are you serious? Like, I see women, friends, and acquaintances, people that I know on my Facebook, and people that I know personally. I mean, a lot of those people are people I know personally, and I see these women who are just literally, and I say women, I'm sure men do it too, but I find it more with women for whatever reason, and they're just relationship hopping, like one guy after another. Like they're literally going from one guy to the next. They're not even like giving themselves time. And when I say relationships, I don't mean just like relationships like that you're actually like posting on Facebook like you're together, but I'm talking like even flirting. Like if you're in a relationship and you get your heart broke, like you should not be going out the very next day that you break up and like going on dating apps and going on flirting with men and like talking about going on dates with men. I'm sorry. If you're doing that, then there is something missing inside of you. And the reason I know this is because I did this. Like, so I did this. I mean, again, I wasn't married, but like I would date and I would find somebody and I would, as soon as like a relationship would end, I would be like, okay, on to the next. I was like a boy crazed teenager is what I would best describe myself as. And I see it so much with other people in my lives. It's like looking in a mirror when I see them. And when I see people on Facebook or acquaintances I know or friends, and I'm like, I'm looking in a mirror and it's like, I've been there, so I can help you. Like, I know what's going on, but I think the problem is that they are so not self-aware of it. And so that's just like one of my niches here. It's like one of the things I want to help people with is like to help them understand what's going on. But I feel like so many people aren't ready for that because, again, you have to take responsibility for those things. Like, you're taking responsibility for the fact that, like, you're attracting these situations into your life and you have to I don't know. I don't know. I get so ramped up about it because you have to take the responsibility, first of all, that your energy is attracting these toxic relationships in your life. You have to take responsibility for that. Second, you have to take responsibility for the fact that, like, if you're going out and dating, as soon as, like, your one relationship's ending, then there is a freaking issue within, like, there is a self-love issue, there is a self-worth issue, a self-image issue. Those are the three issues that so many people have. And I just feel like they're not aware of it. And so, when I see these on Facebook and I'm just like, and I want to help and I want to scream, but like, I don't know, nobody seems to be paying attention. Like, and I'm like, I can help you guys. But again, these are people I know, so maybe that's the thing is like I guess it's hard to admit that to people, you know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. And I've heard the comment before to me like, well, I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but I don't think you know because you've never really been married. No, but I've been in relationships, like, and I do know, the reason I never got married was because I got out before I got to that point. Like I didn't take that leap because it wasn't right, and I knew that. And so I think a lot of times people don't realize like they look at you, you've never been married or never been with somebody for, over 10 years or whatever. And I get that. And I get that people leave relationships slowly and sometimes they you'll hear people say like, yeah, I know I just now filed for divorce, but our marriage has been over for 3 years. Well, you still just now filing for divorce. Like, don't you think that maybe, just maybe, you should deal on yourself? Like, don't go out and, start texting other men and start trying to go on dates and, having friends with benefits and hooking up. Like, if you can't take a year to be by yourself and to deal with yourself and to literally just work on yourself and be with your, go hang out with your friends or just like do the things and you start discovering what you like to do, first of all, on your own, then like, what are you doing? If you can't do that, then there is an issue, okay? That's what I had to do. Like again, there is no judgment because I did do this and I wasn't, if somebody would have said these things to me, I probably wouldn't have listened because I I don't know. I think because people did say, "Oh, Chris, you need to love yourself." I'm like, I do love myself. I didn't fucking love myself, man. I did not love myself at all. And I had to finally, like, after like multiple, relationships and then multiple short-term relationships and multiple like dates and just different things that was happening in my life and meeting like the worst kind of guys, I finally had to take a step back and be like, I'm not going to date anymore. Like, I'm not going to put myself out there right now because there is something going on within myself. Because why, like, I started understanding that, like, I'm worthy. But, like, even though I didn't feel worthy, like, I started understanding, like, well, I discovered attachment issues. First was the first rabbit hole I started to go down. If you don't know what those are, go back to my earlier episodes about attachment issues, and they will, you will hear all about them because and I might actually repurpose that and put it out since it's been like 9 months I've been doing these podcasts because I think that everyone needs to know about it. But I discovered that and went down all these rabbit holes and then I was like, oh my gosh. And so I started like just really learning about myself. And that's when I had to say, like, I'm not going to date anymore. Like, it was hard because I wanted the dopamine hit. Like, when a guy like looks at you, like, and he wants to ask you out or he kisses you or, he wants you and you feel almost like you feel a high almost and and it feels really good. So to not have that and to stop that was really rough. I mean, it's as rough as anything else. It's as rough when you quit eating shit, like, McDonald's and all the addictive stuff there. It's the same as if you were like addicted to your phone screen or your internet and stop doing that or drinking. Like I don't drink anymore and like that was difficult to stop doing that too because that was like a dopamine hit that I was getting. It's the same thing with like men. It can be an addiction. It can really be an addiction. And yeah, so when you stop that, it's really, really hard. But I think that like that's what you need to do to really find yourself and to really start loving yourself. And I just don't know if people are like willing to hear this yet. I thought they were, but I don't know because, I don't know. You guys let me. Maybe you'll see this, maybe you won't. And if you do, I hope you'll let me know if you like this episode. Because I'm totally rambling here. This is kind of what I do, and I know I'm all over the place, but I have so much stuff I want to share. And again, I'm just getting a little disheartened because I feel like and that's what I just shared was like my big thing. Like I want people to understand that it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you that you can't, and there's nothing wrong with men either. So stop for the love of God. Stop saying that all men suck and stop saying like, oh, there's just no good men out there. That's not true. It's because of your energy and your vibration and whatever is the DNA that's in your body that has been stuck there, not like DNA from like you probably don't know what I mean, but like it's all about it's whatever it's your subconscious beliefs, okay? That is what's going on. So for the love of God, quit saying it because again, your words are spells, and every time you say there's no good men left, and the universe says, "Oh, your wish is my command." Okay. So anyway, I don't want to get too woo-woo because I just feel like I've been trying to go on that route and people just aren't hearing it. And I don't know. I don't know what it takes to help people. I don't know doing, but I'm just trying to take people on this journey with me and trying to share the lessons that I have learned because I feel like that is my calling and that is my purpose. And a big part of that lesson is relationships, but it doesn't it's not all about the relationships. It's literally about the energy and the vibration that you're putting out, and that is what is attracting situations in your life because how like what we feel on the inside and what's in our subconscious brain is what is really attracting everything to us. It's like attracts like, right? Law of attraction. I mean, it's all the same thing. That is what is bringing these situations into our life, and I know a better way, and I can help, and I know that. Like I don't have any doubt with that, and so. That's what I'm trying to do. That is what I'm trying to do. I've seen changes in my own life. Not necessarily with men because I don't, again, I'm not date like I guess I shouldn't say that now. I will, but like I don't go out and search for it. I'm not out there on the dating apps. I'm not out there, trying to find and hook up with men because to me, like I'm so happy by myself now. But I've seen so many other changes in my life, whether it's with money, with with like the weight I'm losing now, with my health, with the people that are in my life, really. Like since I've been able to rewire my brain and um, really embody the energy of the person that I am becoming. And so I want to help and I want to know if this resonates with people because I don't know what else to do. Like, I really don't know what else to do. And I just want you guys to know that you're not alone. And I guess that's pretty much it. So, when we share my thoughts on TikTok, I think I'm changing that around too, where I might create another page even, and it's just where it's like called Chrissy's Thoughts. Oh, I kind of like that, Chrissy's Thoughts. Like it has a nice ring to it, where I just basically share my thoughts about anything, everything, and might get canceled on that, but who cares, right? Who cares? Because I'm not holding back anymore, and I'm gonna move into the attitude of like I don't care. I mean, I do care, but like I'm just going to speak what's on my mind, and I'm going to use this as my personal outlet. And if people see it, people see it, and if people don't, then people don't. And if they resonate, they resonate, and if they don't, they don't. And I'm just going to have to keep the faith that that the people who are meant to hear my podcast will hear them. And so that's really what this podcast is about. Honestly, I know I went off on a tangent on relationships, but this podcast is about this episode is about how do you keep going when you're not getting the results that you want, right? When you don't feel like you're resonating with anybody. And I don't have a magical answer for that other than you just keep going. You just keep going and you keep doing what you love and you just keep talking and you just keep sharing and you don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. And that's all you can do, right? And you just hope that like the universe will rearrange things and will drive the people to you that you're going to help the most, that are going to resonate with you. And that's all we can do. So this is my journey. I'm taking you guys with me. I'm going to share things that I've learned and I hope that you guys like it. I really do. And I would love to connect. And if you do like this, please, or whatever you think about this, please just leave a review or leave a comment if you're on YouTube or somewhere and let me know what you think. Okay. It would help other people find this too. So, anyway, I will see you next week. I love you so much.